All right, family. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. I'm live tonight with a queen, so I'm glad y'all waited. How many of y'all want to meet a queen? A real life living queen. If y'all do, we are here tonight. And I want to welcome back to the platform. There's nobody like this on planet Earth. Queen Afua, what she brought to the world. A pleasure to have you back on the show, Queen.
It's always a pleasure to be with you in our community. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I know, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to King Simon, everybody for being patient. We had a good show last night. Gonna have another great show tonight. Yeah, got a lot of good things in store, some announcements and things like that. So yeah, let's get this thing going, Queen.
Yes. Mhm.
So much talk about what's going on in the world. People are feeling all types of symptoms. They don't know if it's cosmic symptoms or sickness, or they don't know what's going on. Like, people are feeling anxiety and tiredness. As somebody who is in the spiritual community and somebody who's in the alternative health community in terms of foods and fruits and vegetables, what's your opinion or what's your take on the whole idea of what people are calling ascension symptoms, Queen?
They're called ascension symptoms, which means that they don't feel themselves ascending. They are declining, and we are. I mean, the but the power to shift those symptoms is actually innate. It's actually inside of us. So my take is that everything is reflecting what's going on an eternal level,
Right.
and that the power to heal us is actually in us. I am a living example of that because at a very young age, I was extremely sick and I had no answers, not apparently. But once I changed my intake and started
Hmm.
eating foods from the garden, natural foods, whole
Hmm.
foods,
Hmm.
food that has life, food that is filled with sunlight, I started to radiate at a young age. And in that, within just two 21-day cycles, I was able to eliminate my disease. And I had several, from womb issues, PMS, to headaches, to arthritis, to eczema, a number of issues that were going on. And once I detox and rejuvenate, which is really the bottom line, all disease falls into two categories. We call it different names according to what the issues are. If there's a congestion in the lungs, we might call that asthma, emphysema. If there's congestion in the head, we might call that poor memory, depression, as or Alzheimer. If there's toxins built up in the joints, we might call that pain and inflammation. If there's toxins in the womb, we might call that a fibroid or possibly on the way to a hysterectomy. For the man, it may be prostate cancer. So, but it's all based on two things: malnourishment. The body has to be nourished throughout the day, and the body has to go through a way of detoxification. So it's a way of life. It's not something you could just do and then you have it. You have to live a holistic life if you want to be whole and vibrant every day of your life.
Oh,
So all the trauma that we're going through, we can actually change it
hmm.
with food as medicine. My specialty is food as medicine.
Indeed.
So if someone comes to see me, for example, and they're going to the physician and they have arthritis. A lot of people are having a lot of knee pains and joint pain. And as we get old, or back braces, but the body is actually deteriorating. But if you know that you can juice turnips and kale and chard and drink plenty of water to repair the bones in the joints and come off of the sugar and the white flour process, and your body can actually regenerate itself, then with that knowledge, you could begin to heal. One of the ways in which I see we're going to actually transform our families is to create a healer in every family. That's my mission. And creating a healer in every family is through knowledge and teaching and training. And to create a wellness home, that we should have those two things intact. And then we could recover our whole family.
Mm.
Creating a wellness home becoming a wellness healer. I have two organizations that I work with. Both is about violence, anti-violent relationships. One of the organization is Warm in Harlem with Stephanie McGraw. She's been honored actually this evening from the mayor, Eric Adams, for her work in helping women. But as I speak to the women, because I teach yoga, meditation, and food is medicine in Harlem every Tuesday, and what I've noticed is that they're all malnourished, all the women that are getting beat up in their home and beating their husbands up and beating their children up, or who are frustrated or running out of the house just with what's on their back because the level of violence and rage is in that home. But I noticed that the women, all of the women, I asked them, I said, what are you eating? How are you eating? When are you eating that toxicity? And they tell me all the same stories. It's a common thread. Junk food, fast food, microwave, processed, deep fried, heavy meat intake. So inside of the body's already at a low violent frequency.
Right, right,
And the more toxic the body, the lower the frequency. And so just like we have a heart attack, that's a violent reaction to how living a toxic life. A stroke, that's a violent reaction to living a toxic life. A, knee replacement, having your knees and joints taken because of diabetic count is so high, toes are turning black, feet are being cut off, legs are being amputated. That's an attack on the skeletal structure. So the food is attacking us. Psychologically, we're feeling attacked by the system, the powers that be. So there's a frequency of toxic food, causing violence to come to you in your life and in your home. So your home is not a safe place. But also because your body is not in a safe place. So when you begin to detox in an organized fashion and take on as a way of life, you detox the violence out of your body. So on one side, I deal with the women to stop the domestic violence, but also the men. If a woman is being treated violently in her home, he's also feeling violent. He was violated maybe when they came together as a unit. So the minute the woman changes or the man changes, the relationship also changes and you come out of the violence. On the other hand, I worked with Erica Ford for years. It's been over 2 decades. And her work is to stop the violence in the street. And her organization has taken on by practices. And when one for the family who's suffering from the violence from so the children are being shot to death and the husband are being shot to death in the street and the streets are violent to us, and but we are frustrated and we are broken, and as a result of all that broken, mentally broken, emotionally broken, physically broken, we are killing ourselves, and the system is killing us. It's like an agreement of violence, and as a result we fill the prison systems up and free labor. It's a cycle that we're in, and I call it the massive great trap. You know what a trap is like? Think about a bear trap.
oh yeah,
When a trap is, the bear is caught in a trap, the bear's not going to get out of that trap. The bear will just bleed all the way out. There's no way out. And that's how people are feeling. There's no way out, but there is a way out. And that way is in. Detox as a way of life. Rejuvenate your tissues, your cells, your mind, your heart, your spiritual movement. Women, 90% of Black women have fibroid tumors. Now, in 2000, when the book Sacred Women came out, 45% of Black women had fibroid tumors. Now, here it is, 20 years later, it went up to 90%. Now, that 90% out, 50% or more of those women will be questioned and encouraged to have a hysterectomy because those women will get a myectomy. They'll have the tumor removed, possibly, and then it's going to grow back in 2 years because she did not stop eating the violent food. And then it grows back again, and then will be recommended. Well, why don't you go ahead? The question will be from your physician: do you have children? They may say, I have one or two children. Said, okay, well, why don't you go ahead and get a hysterectomy and just get rid of the issue? But that's not getting rid of the issue. There is that, but the fibroid is a pipeline to the hysterectomy. But then after the hysterectomy, the women don't even feel better. If you felt better, if you felt more energized, that would be one thing. But they actually feel just as bad. So why do we even go that route when we can actually shift that in our bodies by detoxing and cleansing the violence out of our system mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually? So I have developed various systems in which both women and men and families and children and elders can begin to detox their homes, detox their lives, and take their health back. Now, those who are seeing their physician, you can continue seeing your physician, but the power to heal you is actually going to be your responsibility. And what you shop, how you prepare your food, that is your pharmacy. Your food is your medicine, and your medicine is your food. So as you start to get educated on my system, I'll take you to 27 days for those who are ready to just get started and want to begin to have a breakthrough. I'll take 1 through 21 days until you say, this is my life. I've been living on this lifestyle for decades. And I moved through the various houses of lifestyle, that from the lacto-ovo vegetarian, the vegetarian, to the alkaline vegetarian, to the non-GO, until the chlorophyll life. All of that is based on one thing, really, which is sun food for sun people. Our ancestors gave us who we are. And the affirmation is this: it came out of the first written text of spirituality. It says, golden or my limbs. We're talking about light. Crown, blue, my crown. We're talking about Nefertum, the lotus, the clear, clean mind that creates clear, clean life. And then finally, emerald, my body. So your body becomes that of a sar. Your body becomes the body of the resurrected one. We need our resurrection. I just went to a political circle about 2 weeks ago, myself and my son Ali, Legacy Ali. And when I went in there, it was one of the old school political circles. And I said, well, let me come in and be a part of. And then they said, oh, everyone, before we begin, we have food in the back. And it was in abundance. And it was fried chicken, it was a classical, it was macaroni and cheese, it was candy yams with the sugar, it was, the Kool-Aid, all that toxic energy. And I said, so that's why we're so trapped. We are just so toxic. We haven't not graduated on a dietary level. We're still functioning from a slave consciousness with our food. And then I went downstairs to another meeting. Someone was running for political office, and it was the same food. So we're trapped. We're in a state of toxicity, but we can get out of the traps. But we need to start to activate our knowing that are in a trap, and then saying, I'm in a trap of diabetes. When you take a medication, it's just to really manage the issue. It doesn't dissolve it. It's just you learn to live with high blood pressure until, for the men, you have erectile dysfunction. That's what it's leading you to. You learn to live with antidepressants until you go into a stronger form of medication to suppress the emotional imbalance, and then you just explode, and then you attack. So we have a lot of healing and cleansing, and we can. Nature has given us a way, and the Most High and all the various names have given us a way, and it's to detox
Right there.
the body, mind, spirit.
And that's the next question.
So that was a long answer, but you can take from it what you will.
Indeed. Queen, I want to ask you this
Yeah.
because I hear people talk about us being sun people a lot and us needing sun food a lot. And, different people say different things in the health community about what to eat, what to not eat. There's a group of vegetables called nightshade vegetables, and there's certain foods that don't require sunlight. I've heard certain people say that we should stay away from mushrooms because they don't get the sun. So what's your uh thoughts on nightshade vegetables that don't get as much sun as other vegetables, or something like a mushroom that is talked about a lot within the spiritual community?
Well, it's not like mushrooms give you a lot of nutrition. What people are really using mushrooms for primarily is texture, because we want to have the same meaty texture in our mouth. And so that's what most people are going to the nightshades or the mushrooms for. It's not nutrition.
So,
So
so there's no nutrition in a mushroom?
it's very little nutrition in the mushroom. The
Like,
biggest nutrition and the biggest form of alkaline balancing and repairing is actually the chlorophyll.
mm,
So if we can get chlorophyll base,
hmm.
then if we do take mushrooms, it won't, it's just really to satisfy the texture, you
What
know.
about like eggplants, nightshades like eggplants and things like that?
Well, it doesn't, it's still, I'm gonna go with chlorophyll.
Okay,
Chlorophyll is the highest form of sun food.
got you, got
So
you,
if we can saturate our systems with the chlorophyll, it will balance everything out.
got you, got you.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you this, Queen. I want to ask you this because you were talking a little earlier about households, and we're talking about health,
Hmm.
and you know the name of the title. I titled it "Our Superpowers Are in Mother Nature." A lot of our, if you have a car and the car needs great quality gasoline for it to operate, we need quality gasoline for our body to operate, and we get that through our fruits, vegetables, our water. I want to ask you, but there's something else that affects our health, and they say it's the number one killer of people, and that's stress. I want to ask you a question, Queen. Being a vegan, you've been a vegan a long time, Queen. Now,
Yes.
have you noticed a difference health wise from when you was a vegan and you were married versus when you were a vegan and you were single? Because some people say love is the best nutrient somebody can have, or some people say stress is the biggest killer somebody can have. So, talk to us about your experience being a vegan, being married versus being a vegan and being single. How did that impact you? What difference did you notice, Queen?
Well, I was married young. I was married in my 20s. So that was a certain consciousness.
Yeah,
Then I got married in my latter 30s.
right.
So I was married for 3 eras.
Yes.
And so my youthfulness didn't have as much information.
Mm-hmm.
I was a vegetarian at 16.
Mm-hmm.
So whether I had what they call a mate or a husband, it was still my body temple. So what I've observed is your relationships are frequency, they're energy with a body. Whatever your energy is, that's who you bring into your life. So if your energy is already stressful, you will attract someone who is stressful, even if it doesn't show up in the beginning. That the honeymoon period, everybody is playing nice and at their best foot forward. And then after about three
Queen.
months, then the truth comes out.
3 months,
Then
3 months, Queen. 3 months, 3 months.
well, yeah, okay, we're gonna give it 3 months, but stuff starts showing up, and you start telling yourself, "Well, that can't be." No, because you're just caught up in the opportunity of the
Yeah.
embrace and all of that.
Right, right,
But
right.
you start seeing some signs. And matter of fact, you see the signs before you really get involved.
Mm, mm,
But we start telling ourselves, I'm not really seeing what it is. We
mm,
want it to be better than what we're seeing, but we can't be any better than ourselves. You're only going to connect with who you are and where you are. Even I'll tell sacred women, for example, I'll say, if you just starting, now you're 2 months in or a month in, if you don't have a mate, don't go get a mate until you have balanced yourself, rejuvenated your mind, healed up with your parents, because we're also bringing our families into the relationship. The anger that we have for our mothers or the anger that we have for our fathers, we get married to it.
mm,
And then we say, how come you do it? Why you acting like my mother or you acting like my father? Because that is who you are and that's what you bring to the relationship. And then you exchange energy. And now you're compounded your own insanity, your own fear, your own doubt.
mm,
So when you get with someone, it just gets stronger. Your positive energy gets stronger, as well as your negative, toxic energy gets stronger because it's now compounded with you and the other person. So I would say detox and stabilize before you bring someone into your intimate space. And then, if you're not on the same page, you got to find only on the same page. If you're functioning from a state of desperation, then you're going to have a toxic relationship. You just want somebody in your life. Well, you'll get somebody in your life, but it's going to make you sick. So relationships can make you just as sick as a steak dinner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It depends on, you have to do some research in the relationship. You have to say, so tell me about your family.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about how you feel about women,
Mm-hmm.
how you feel about your mother. How do you feel about your father? Because if they don't get help, you don't get help, you are going to have that same relationship over and over again. It just keeps recycling itself. And then you get angry at all Black women or you get angry at all Black men. And why? Because you haven't made the shift yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so when one goes through a detox, for example, it's starting to clean out their bloodstream. They're cleaning out the family, what you was born into as your family, that's what you carry, the bloodline. If
Mm-hmm.
in your family there was it was incest, hostility, um, fighting, then that's what's in you. So you have to spend time with you clearing that poison out of your own system. Otherwise, you're going to just continue that to the next generation. And then you'll pass that sickness down into your children's children. So it always gets back to the first book I wrote, Heal Thyself. But heal thyself is not you heal, you're good to go. You have to continue healing yourself. Herpes is a critical thing right now. I remember I got a call. It was about 5 people in 1 month, and they were all in their 20s. And I remember one woman picked up the phone and she said, she just said, Queen. I said, yes, I'm here. She started to cry as if she was trying to find a place to cry in and on. And I sat back and I was with her. And at the end of that moment, then she said, I have herpes. I knew that she was going to say it because it was considered a death sentence. Herpes is a consciousness. Herpes is a feeling. Herpes is the food. Herpes is the resentment and the rage, and it's in the bloodstream. So we have to clean up our blood. If we clean up our blood, we can get rid of it. And that's why I always go back to the foundation. I'm a chlorophyllion, supernova Islam, hip hop medicine man. Man, heal thyself leadership. He gave to me what I gave to him. All my children was born vegetarian, vegan. But when he went away, I sent him out of New York City streets so he wouldn't be shot to death because I could see where he was going.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sent down south and we communicated distance, but he came back on a new vibe. And when he came back. I said, what is this gallon that he's walking around in green? I said, what's that all about? He was 17 by the time he came back. And he said, this is chlorophyllic life. I'm living a chlorophyllic lifestyle. So I said, what's the chlorophyllic lifestyle? So he said, the chlorophyllic lifestyle, you have 90% of chlorophyll of foods. It just came out of him. This is what it is. And I found myself becoming a chlorophyll person. And I saturate to this day, I started to mostly take in the greens. And then I looked at Essence. I was given, my other son said, Ma, open up Essence. Open up Essence. He told, okay, I turned to the page. It was a refrigerator with nothing but greens, all four shelves. I
Mm-hmm.
said, wow, that's beautiful. He said, that's how I feel. Then he said, turn the page. I turned the page, and someone was talking about, I got rid of my fibroid tumor, and then I got married. And then I started eating like my husband, and the tumor grew back. But then I started going back to heal thyself. Queen Afua's book. I said, oh, this is about my lifestyle. This is about our lifestyle. So tell me, when you ask me about relationships and what are we attracting and how does that all show up? If you are attracting a toxic, violent relationship, it's because you are toxic and violent internally. And the quickest way, one of the things that's understood in all spiritual houses is to fast and to pray. So we literally have to fast from junk, fast from fried, fast from microwave, fast from the poisonous foods, saturate the tissues and cells with your green light, with your nutrients, and then break the addiction with your bitters. You have your bitters. I have a master herbal brew that will help to get rid of the craving because you got to get that craving out. It's like a monkey on your back. You have a difficult time changing your diet because you were raised that way. Your mother raised you that way. The foods that you prepared, that all of that's a part of your life. And so we just keep in this trap of unhealthy relationships because we're unhealthy inside. But that will shift. The mental shift. And I'll tell you, the summertime, this is the time. If you don't go into the fall with your issues, the hotter the weather, the deeper the healing.
Mm, mhm,
Mhm. So a lot of the poison is coming out through our sweat glands. The two largest organs of detoxification is your skin and your colon. If you can, and it's deep about that colon because cancer of the colon is the second highest form of cancer in the United States. Why? Because our bodies are being, we're just dumping a lot of toxic foods in our system and for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So our colons are rotting out. I had one young sister, she's in her 30s, and she had pieces of her colon cut out 3 times.
mm,
Rather than taking an enema or taking a cascara sagrada or taking okra and some onions, she that would have been an alternative. She would have flushed out her colon, just changing the food
mm.
and increasing the fluids, the water in the body. So
You
our
kind of
relationships are
wait.
ourselves.
You kind of answered. It's funny. This happens a lot when I have a question in my mind. Somehow, the person that I'm interviewing manages to tap into the question before I even ask it. But in
Mm.
terms of elimination, that's one of the most important things. I was going to ask you, what's the biggest way our body eliminates waste? You mentioned the sweat glands. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the colon, and when people go to the bathroom, but there's
Mm-hmm.
also people also say breathing correctly can eliminate waste from your body. So I want to know, with all the different ways you can eliminate waste from the body, what would you say is the top way your body eliminates waste?
I always say the top way is through water. I was a colon therapist for 15 years. I would see people's personalities shift the minute they were cleansed with the water, hydrotherapy,
Mm,
because water does everything. Is we're 75% water. So a lot of our aging is because we don't take enough water. So our bones become brittle, our joints become inflamed, our kidneys become swollen. So if we start drinking water, not in the morning, 12, 8 to 6 ounces, midday, afternoon, sunset. We will hydrate our system so the waste will begin to loosen up and flush out. Also, taking baths. So, drinking the water is one way, taking healing baths is another way, and that also takes stress out of the body while it's detoxing you.
Queen, you did it again. I literally was about to ask you. You got some like telepathic community abilities or something like that.
I do, and we all do.
No, facts. Yours is real active. In my mind, I was just about to give you something that happened when I was young, and I was going to say, Queen, what about bathing? So check this out, Queen. Well,
Mhm,
I remember one time when I was young. It stands out. I got drunk one night. I was drinking,
mhm. But what were
and
you going through that you got drunk?
what'd you say?
What were you going through that you got drunk?
Oh, just partying, having a good time. Just want to. I felt like Queen. I felt like I needed the alcohol to have a good time.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
so
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
going
yeah,
out to eat dinner with friends and
yeah, yeah.
family, going to have.
Mhm.
But I drunk a little too much,
Okay.
and I remember I woke up in the morning. I had a big hangover in the morning,
Mhm,
and I decided to take a cold shower. So
mhm.
I was in the shower. I was taking a regular shower. Then I decided to turn the water cold. When I turned the water cold, it did something to my body where I had to get out, and I threw up immediately. And I threw up all whatever I had to get rid of. I
Okay.
got rid of. So what is it about? Since we're talking about detoxing,
Yeah.
what does the cold shower or the
Yes.
cold water? Because I see people doing
Mhm.
the ice plunges. So
Yeah.
what is it
Yeah.
about the cold water? What does that do to your body?
Well,
Because
it's
it
two
made me throw up.
temperature. Well, actually, it's expelled. It's forced the body to wake
Right.
up. So it started pushing the poisons out of the organs. So if you could do both temperatures,
Yeah.
then it would be a balance. So you take hot and then cold. So the body wakes up, releases,
Hmm.
and then it rests so they can release again. So that for years I've taken thousands of people to the bathhouse and I call it the soul sweat. I used to do that with Senor Uncle Rostamaz would do the soul sweats using the temperature, using the heat, using the water. using the green juices and the hot and cold simultaneously to wake up the organs that are sluggish, that are asleep. So your organs needed to wake up, and that's what the cold did.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm. Excellent, excellent. I want to ask you now. Well, let me pull this up. Got to get your opinion on this. Got to get your opinion on this because I hear more and more people talking about this. Hold up, I want to pull it up on the computer. Hold up. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna let you know. There's something called electroculture, where people who have gardens and farms, they are putting copper wire in their gardens to help stimulate the growth of the plants in the gardens. So I want to ask you, Queen, what do you think about number one, have you heard of it? I'm sure you have. And what's your thoughts on putting copper wires in your garden to stimulate the growth of the plants, the fruits, the vegetables in your garden?
Well, copper is a protector and an energizer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another it's nature. So to put the copper in to energize, it's like plugging in, like you have to energize your phone, you have to plug into electricity. So it gives more energy and electricity to the soil, I would say, so the growth can be more magnified and there'll be more energy in the food. And particularly the soil, since our soil is so weak now,
Mm-hmm.
with all of the toxins that they're putting into the soil, and it spreads. The waste in the weak soil doesn't stay in one little box.
Right,
It
right, right,
travels,
right.
right? Just like water travels.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that would be a very healthy way to re-energize with sunlight, with clean water to energize the soil again, because the soil is weak. I mean, I'm eating food right now. If
Mm,
I go to a regular grocery store, my whole body is insulted because I remember what real food tastes like.
mm.
It's like having watermelon that has energy with the seeds, and then having watermelon, and they're so proud organic seedless watermelon. That's a crime.
That's
Now
crazy,
you,
right? I just seen that today. That's crazy, right? Organic seedless.
it's
That's crazy.
nothing organic about seedless. That when you take the seeds out, you take the life out, and they're taking life out of the grapes, taking the seeds out of the oranges, taking seeds out of the lemons, the limes, taking seeds out of the watermelon. So it's being pulled out. That means the energy of the food is no longer real food. I call it substance. You put it in your mouth, it has some liquid in it, so you think it's food. But I remember what food tastes like.
Mm, mm,
So I would recommend go to the farmers market where the farmers are growing the food. And you know where they're growing. You know the quality of the soil. Become a food co-op member or create a co-op with 3 or 4 other families, so
mm,
that you can control your food.
mm,
Grow your food. You have a backyard or plots or a community garden. Start to grow your food as a community because
mm,
we're not eating real food. The food is at such a low frequency. Everything is energy. The higher the frequency and the energy, the stronger the mind. That's you said, Queen, you're telepathic. Well, we all are, and I am picking up vibes and spirits every second because you have to have radar to get through this realm. Otherwise, you go down a path and you say, "How did I get here?" Because you're unconscious. You have to stay conscious and awake. But if your food that you're taking in is supposed to give you the electricity and the vitality and the energy and the wherewithal, but the food is at such a low frequency, you're not at your highest potential.
mm,
And then you could be railroaded, you could be manipulated, you could be controlled, you can be abused because it's all energy. So for me, I read food energy. I read people energy, I read environmental energy, and I do it through radionics. It's everything is energy. So the goal is to have energy conversations, energy relationships, energy food on the highest frequency. Well, I think with the highest frequency, and I was just on myself and my son Ali was on. We went to Essence. They invited us to present, and I want to shout out to my brother, our from Panama. But we were supposed to be together. Whatever happened, but he's, I lift him up because his frequency is high on the Sun Food Live Foods. But and they asked me to speak on alkaline food or alkaline. Really call it alkaline living, which is how I'm living. you know, but I'm in the city, so it's toxins in the environment, in the air. But if I do take, you know, you can still be in the toxicity and raise your frequency enough to get through. So they're either, and looking at the graph of alkalinity, the food from like 1 to 6 or to 7 is acid. Most people are living in the acid world. What is the acid world creating? Acid world is creating diabetes, obesity, depression, high blood pressure, prostate cancer. That's the life of acidity. The goal is to get to 7.35 in the midway. That sounds like my aunt to me. On the opposite end of that, that is on the pH level, that is representing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's when it's extreme alkalinity, and that's when you become depleted. You can just have just fruits and no sunlight and no greens, and you become totally wiped out, or you're malnourishment. So between the two, the acid, if you rejuvenate and repair, then you could build back up. And then on the opposite side, you're detoxing. So the goal is to get to your balance. And that's through healthy, vibrant living. And at any point, anytime you get sick, you're either going to the acidic realm, or anytime you get sick, a headache, depression, toxic words, all of that sees that you are declining. And so that's why I know that it's really an everyday walk of wellness. Or the opposite side, you debilitate, you can't. Well, listen, when I go away from Brooklyn and I come back and I go on Fulton Street, for example, Fulton, Nostrand, Fulton Street, I see the men walking, they're dragging their legs. They call that dead legs.
Mhm.
I see the older women using the shopping cart as a walker. I see the skin is dull and lifeless.
Mhm.
I see the brothers hanging on the corner, don't have no work. I said, oh, it's all energy and frequency. And then I go into other communities and I see the men in groups with work, construction, what have you, plumbers. I see groups of them, and we don't have it. It lets me know that we have to be so self-sustained, but you have to have energy to be self-sustained. If you don't have enough energy, you can't. You just whatever happens, you just a victim. But if you know that you can create your own work, because I'm an entrepreneur. Most of the people that I know are entrepreneurs. The level of high frequency you have to live in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be healthy. You cannot be sick and be a strong entrepreneur,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
right? Your mind got to be sharp. Your intuition has to be on point because you can't afford to fall and do a whole bunch of mistakes and repeat cycles over and over again. You got to be astute. You have to wake up with energy. You have to rest in energy. You have to create, be that creative spirit. That takes high frequency living of
Mm.
the highest level.
Mhm.
So to be able to get that balance and live it every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's a work indeed. But if we do it together, then we can break the cycles. You can't do this alone because we're addicted. We're raised in an addictive environment. Our families had addictive habits. Most of our families have number of illnesses. But I'll tell you this: if you can heal yourself, I'm gonna lift up the sacred women right now and man, heal thyself.
Mhm.
Because we're about to have an ascension, a phenomenal ascension, and it's going to be in Brooklyn, but it's also going to be online. And it's going to be at the New York Marriott Hotel. It's going to be a 3-day intensive. Women and men, it's going to be 100 women, and they're going to tell their story. And you're going to see that food is not just what you put in your mouth. Food is your relationships. Food is your conversation. Food is your exercise, your movement. Food is healing from your past your inner child healing work. Food is forgiving your family. Food is how you think. Food is coming out of the mud of your suffering, washing, fasting, cleansing, purging, coming up out of that mud, and then you get a chance to blossom. So you want to bear witness to these 100 beautiful, powerful women and the circle of man, heal thyself as an example
Mhm.
of radiant health and vitality. And once you come into that space, you will then be able to connect to your wellness as well. So I want you to come out and check our website on that queenafua.com and register, be a part of it. Taste vegan food, connect with live people. We'll have music. We'll be going to the spa. We'll be going to the ocean as our guests. You can join us. We're having families heal collectively. Families healing families.
Family in the chat, King Simon is sharing the links from Queen Afua. She got the detox program, queenafuaproducts.com. She also has a website. King Simon is also sharing a link tree. It is also pinned at the top of the chat. So you cannot say you don't see it. It's pinned at the top of the chat, and he is sharing it continuously in the chat. Queen,
Mm.
what I want to ask you about a
Can
great
I just say,
yeah.
greetings, King Simon? We go so far. You know, I'm a biker. He's a biker. I'm a martial artist. He's a martial artist.
Okay.
So I just want to give kudos to you for your us
Oos. Oos. Okay.
to our journey.
Indeed. Let me ask you this, Queen. When you was talking about certain foods we put in our mouth, I thought about the, you know, certain farmers saying that they before they plant a seed in the farm, they would put the seed in their mouth
Mm.
and then plant it. I want to ask you, Queen, something important, saliva. Saliva is something very important that we exchange with as human beings. When you're at your most intimate,
Yes.
saliva is all over the place when you're at your most intimate.
Wow.
Whether it's or you giving oral pleasure, and I don't want me to be disrespectful, or whether you're kissing, the nipples of your woman or the mouth, you exchange a lot of saliva. Saliva plays a very important role when it comes to that oxytocin that gets released during pleasure. So, talk to me about saliva and health, because I started out the
Yeah.
question with the farmers and them putting the
Yes.
seeds in their mouth, then planting. What can you tell me about the role saliva plays in our health, Queen of Four?
That is like a loaded question. But I do love the idea of
Yeah.
the farmers connecting
Mm.
to the seed to that level. So their essence is in the soil. So they're actually, the plant is you. That's an African cultural concept
Mhm.
that we are plants.
Mm.
And what we, as human beings, we actually plants. Just like we're air, we're fire, sunlight, water, 75%, and we're solid earth. Everything in the universe we are. We are the star system walking. And so I get the connection between putting yourself and connecting to the seed in the soil. I love that. Now, if your saliva is filled with hamburgers, french fries, junk food, fried foods, alcohol, drugs, or any of that, and I want you to imagine that you say, oh, that person, we have so much in common. We have, our vision and everything is there. And now you have this toxic being who's loving, who's intelligent, who has business, entrepreneur. Then you have this other being who is also entrepreneur and growing in their vision and economically conscious, and then you bring, but that one on one side, I'm gonna say if it's a man or woman, on one side, he or she is living a clean, organic, natural life. So their fluids are on the highest frequency, and you could guess your medicine. That person is walking medicine, their fluids are medicine. On the other hand, say the other person is filled with the junk, the process, some hatred for their parents, what have you. That saliva, those fluids are toxic. So if you get that toxic being coming with a clean being and they come together, what will happen? The toxic person will be healthier out of that interaction.
Wow.
But the person who was clean and healthy will be sick from that same interaction. So it's dangerous. You have to know who you align with, and you have to know you're on the same page, because if you are on a high level of consciousness and the other person may be acting like performing as if they're that, and then you start acting like them, that person's going to be better because of the exchange.
Hmm.
But you're going to be sick of mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually.
Mm, mm.
And this I know for sure. This is not something, this is not an hypothesis.
Yeah.
This is not something I read in a book. This is my personal experience, and this is also talking to many women and men in terms of their connection and exchange. Even when you bring your relationship together, two families coming together, if they're not equally, they say, yoked or to say the balance, then those children will come out of balance well as
Okay.
well. With
Wow.
two different worlds fighting each other.
Wow. Yeah.
So there's all things to consider. So I would say clean up your relationship with each other. Don't jump into the bed. Jump into the mind.
Mm,
Jump into the heart.
mm.
Jump into the spirit. Grow together, and so you will know. And when you see the toxicity coming out, together clean it up. It's hard to clean it up when you then start to have sex. You should never have sex. You always have love because sex is just physical. It doesn't lift you up. You want more of it, and it's still you still go to states of depression. You start fighting. It brings out the worst if you're not on a high level energetically, and if your fluids are toxic. Danger.
Mm. Damn. Does Queen Afua talk to her water? We've heard about water and its
Hmm. Oh
ability
yes.
to, yeah. Can you talk
Oh,
about?
absolutely. When I work with my clients, like I'll do a 10-minute tune-up, for example,
Mm,
and I'll read them. I'll say, okay, these are all the blockages that you're having. These are things you could do, start to do, begin to wake up. That's the Latino tune-up. And then I'll have them take a glass of water
mm,
in their left hand, in their right hand, put their hand over the water. And
mm,
then I will have them go into their consciousness and connect to their crystal light in their consciousness and to let it come down into the thoughts, into the communication, into the heart of Ma'at, and move into the arm and pour the consciousness and the medicine from their frequency elevation through the breath, through the meditation, and they pour it in the drink. Now, what happens once they pour it in the drink, I said, okay, now drink it. And I want you to drink it. I want to go to all the, allow it to travel and do wherever it needs to go, and then let's do some breathing after that. And let me read you. It's like night and day just by crystallizing the water. You can literally crystallize water. And then you can use to do the same principle, taking the bath, charging the water for the bath so that you let go of the stress, the anger. We're the most therapeutic. Everybody got to come with us to the ocean. And if the families come to us over those 3 days when we have our August 1st to the 3rd, you'll be invited to come to the ocean as a family. And you will circle your family members who went through their rites of passage. We're going to give you that opportunity. Bring all your issues to the water.
whew.
Bring all the rage, the hatred, the pain, the worship, the relationship that did not work out. Bring it. The water will take it. That's the power of the great mind.
Rich needs to come for the weekend if he's available.
Huh?
He needs to capture the weekend.
Who-
Rich,
Oh, Rick needs to capture that weekend.
if he's available.
If he's available, we'd love to have you as our guest. And then what would happen is when we leave that ocean and we give reverence to the water, we don't put our back to the ocean. We have there's cultural norms, cultural works we have to begin to incorporate because we are a blessed people. We are the most loving, compassionate, strong people on the planet. If we clean up, we don't have no issues.
What weekend? When is this again, Queen? When is this happening?
This is happening on the 2nd of August. This is, you probably have, it's called Ascension, the Rise of the Healer. It's Ascension, it's August the 1st to the 3rd. So
Wh-
there's various activities. Be with us.
Where at?
Get
Where at, Queen?
this is going to be in Brooklyn. I'm back. I'm back to Brooklyn. Listen, don't. I don't
Tell us.
want Atlanta to be jealous. I don't want LA to be jealous. I was there. It was wonderful. The stars followed me throughout. But now I'm here to Brooklyn. That's my foundation. So I will be in Brooklyn, and you can register at queenafua.com. Or if you look on the website, you have questions. Call us. We will walk you through, and we'll give you the best recommendation for the weekend because this is a community event, and also you want to come with us on this journey because we are not going to go into the fall and fall. We're going. I've been doing this work for 35 years. There's a reason why I've been doing it for 35 years. And Sacred Women is the number one book out there. But for the last 25 years, there's a reason because we are looking for our medicine,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking in the wrong places for our medicine. And that's why we're still sick. That's why we still have more issues. So Come with us first, second, third, or second, third. Call, let us counsel you through what is best. So we'll have counselors available to communicate with you. Mudamira, she is in charge of the sacred movement. Hallelujah Walkheart is in charge of Man Heal Thyself. And let us counsel you through so you can be with us and have a powerful healing weekend. If this is we have a 3-day retreat. For those who want to take more, be more involved, you can be a part of the 3-day retreat. I will have tonics available all 3 days. Those who want to be vendors, you can bring your work. I will be having the Green Life Tonic, which is this all for the whole week. Everybody will be getting that free, which is for the memory, the immune system. I'll have the Master Herbal Tonic. You'll be able to take that all throughout the day. That's to clean out your blood. I will have the breath of life for those who have asthma, allergies, hafer, to do that. Now, for those that say, you know what, I'm in Chicago, I'm in Detroit, I'm in Washington, because you have people from around the world, Rick, and so I do get, being that you are so versatile, you are people everywhere. So then you can join us on the 7 day. Brother Rich. You can join, they can join us on the 7 day detox, and then I'll give them, that's what that we put up for everyone. You can get the products, you get 2 free workshops as a bonus. The first of the journey, August the 1st to the 7th, there'll be 2 workshops. We'll send out to you a manual with your menu plan, your healthy shopping, and those who register, I'll do a 10-minute tune-up.
Mhm.
Those who rest, I'll do a 10-minute tune-up for what I was talking about. Picking up on your frequency, ether, air, fire, water, earth, let you know where you are, and then you go into it with a clear vision. So those who are interested, you can just join us and be a part of it. And anyone who's from the community, it's $295. We'll take 10% off for your community.
I definitely appreciate that, Queen. And I might be able to make that event on
Mhm.
August 2nd and the 3rd. I'm gonna be in New York. I don't know if I'm gonna stay till August 2nd, but I might be
Okay.
there. If I am,
Okay.
I would love to get some footage and let the family know, see how you get down. So
Oh, that would be supernatural.
yeah,
Well, I
that would
thought
be
you was in Brooklyn. You left Brooklyn.
no,
Where are you?
I'm in Atlanta. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm in Stone Mountain. I'm in Georgia.
Oh, I love Stone.
Yeah,
Well, I
I'm in
well, I
Georgia.
don't really love Stone Mountain, but I love what nature has provided for us.
Right.
Because the history of Stone Mountain, Ku Klux Klan to do
Yeah, yeah,
their
yeah.
deed on us. But we transform it by doing our power walk up there, getting our power.
Oh
So
yeah.
I didn't know. I'm thinking I have you here in Brooklyn.
No, I'm
I
in
just
Georgia.
caught up.
I'm in Georgia. Been down here for about 3 years now, Queen. For about 3 years.
Okay, wonderful. But we're bi-coastal. We can get
Oh
everywhere we
yeah,
need to go.
yeah,
And so we would love to have you as our guest and be a part of this and let the people see really what is happening with this dynamic transformation that's taking place.
yeah. Mhm.
And
I
I'm gonna
want,
tell you something I would like to add to this.
yeah.
During the pandemic, um the women really rose up in that kitchen lab. They was making their elderberry and their garlic drinks and their ginger drinks and all of that. And we all know, all of our community who was conscious and aware, they were busy about healing themselves. And we were not getting taken out by the pandemic. And with that frequency, we will continue not to be taken out because as long as we keep on that awareness that food is medicine, if stuff hits the fan, we know how to counteract. And that's survival.
No, indeed, indeed, Queen. I want to ask you. I mean, and this brother Troy, you right. We snatched that chain back. Stone Mountain, we snatched that chain back. You right about that, Troy. Oh, Queen, I want to ask you because we hear a lot about, we're talking about Mother Nature and the foods that come from Mother Nature. Um, and we hear a lot about grounding. I want to know what's a better way to get electrons in your body, if there's a better way.
Well, I'll
Ground.
tell you.
Hold up, Queen. Hold up, Queen. Hold up now. Grounding, or I hear people saying hugging trees, putting your hands on the tree. The trees will give us electrons. They're electron donors. So you got the trees as electron donors, and you got the ground. What does Queen Afua tap into more to get them electrons flowing through her body? Come on, Queen. Talk to me.
Oh,
Talk
well,
to me, Queen.
a green juice a day will keep the doctor away. So
Say that again. Wait, wait. Say that again. The what?
a green juice a day
Huh?
will keep the doctor away.
Mm-hmm.
Those who come to this experience and have the experience with us and get a chance to circle into the ocean, We're going to ask everybody buries their feet into the sand.
Ooh.
You will feel, for those who are very sensitive, you will feel like a
Ooh.
thumping, like it's as if the earth has a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the pulling.
Mm-hmm.
But while it's pulling the congestion out, it's putting the electrolytes into the body through the sand, through the
Right.
sunlight, through
Right.
the water. All the elements are in that sand: air, fire, water, earth. So your electrical body is being jolted back up. So if you have dead, you out of this, you don't know what to do, you come to this. But anyone who come, we have to prepare you. We
Mm.
actually have to get you cleansing because everybody there is on such a high frequency. You be like, oh my gosh, there's so much energy in the space. So we do want to make sure those who do come that they get some preparation. So we will take some time. I'll do a workshop, a special workshop for those who do want to come and register now, register this week, this not week, but this short period to get you ready, to get to clean up, do some house cleaning. And one of the ways is doing the 7-day detox. That's a very dynamic way of shifting that energy. We'll send out your kit to you early on so you can come to our event on a higher frequency because those who at the Ascension, they're going through 12 weeks of intense healing, cleansing, detoxification, rejuvenation, getting the electricity back into their body, getting the vitality back into their, or forward into their system. So we want you to be as much on an even feel as possible so you can get all that you came to get over these next 3 days.
Indeed. Beautiful.
Ascension, Supernova says, Ascension maintain. I love that. Ascension maintain. My art sustain. You'll be in New York too, all of Hallelujah Walk, and some of our healing juggernauts. I
Mhm.
think you have to come next time we teach. I think you're gonna have to come and one of our healing juggernauts because you're definitely a leader in the wellness world. So I thank you for your work, and we need to join forces more often.
Indeed. I want to ask you this, Queen.
Mhm.
In terms of we have they say we have 24 hours in a day. Somehow some people are able to manage to do so much more than others, but they say 24 hours. Let's just say 24 hours. You got the night portion of the day and the day portion of the day. The night and the day. You got night and day and night. Um in terms of us and what we represent as both containing masculine energy, and we talked about energy earlier. We both have masculine and feminine within our avatar, within our energetic structure, our energetic framework. During the day and during the night, should we tap into one particular energy more than the other in order to
Mhm.
be fully tap into our godhood? Like, does
Yes.
the feminine energy work better at night, the masculine better at the day, or vice versa? How should we approach it like that?
The masculine or the more overt energy is day.
Yeah,
That's the sun coming in. Starting with the sun rising.
yeah.
That's that force of nature. That's the more masculine. The when the sun is starting to go down, that's the more feminine.
Mm,
So during the daytime is when we make our contacts, do the outreach, build, build our work, move. But before the day comes in, the most super supreme time is between 4 and 6.
mm-hmm,
Then we're in our highest consciousness and we now can download exactly all that we are to do to make our day a super effective. So if, for example, I write, and I've been saying for years I'm not a writer, but I've accepted I am a writer. I channel, I see.
mm-hmm,
And if I don't know, whatever I don't see in the daytime, when I'm up in those hours, we call those hours of Nebuchadnezzar. That's the intuitive hours. You could ask any question in the universe about anything. As long as you have a cup of tea, light a candle, do a prayer, and just ask. And it's a technique I say, whatever it is, ask, listen, act according in that sequence. You say, where's my money? Where's my prosperity? Where is my mate? What is my work? What am I to write? Whatever the question in the universe, you will be given the answers. Now, if you've been eating a lot of dead food, you have to prepare. The cleaner you are, the more you will receive the clear vision. So between 4 and 6, you get the clear vision. That's the feminine hour. When the 6 o'clock comes, that sun is coming rising, but it's coming through Mother Newt, which is the
Mm.
feminine principle. It's still coming through Mother
Come on.
Newt,
Talk to him, Queen. Come on.
right?
Come
And
on.
then as it's coming to the
Yeah.
middle of the day, it's Austin the star. So
Yeah.
now you sit on your seat of power. Now, as the sun is going back down, you're going into more heteru, gentle, and that place, that's when you do your closing meditation, you have your juicing, you take your healing bath at that time, you do your supernatural prayers, you invert your body so the sun, so that the energy comes back to you. That's what happens. If you can have a few days like that, a week like that, whoa, you've tapped into your supernatural self. You're supposed to, at my age, supposed to get a little tired as the time goes on. People always say, "Why don't you slow down? Why don't you, you're of the age." I have to laugh at them because I've tapped into my supernatural self,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a supernatural self. And
Mm.
if we can get into a daily rhythm of our supernatural self, that's from what we can't. We're just getting emotional. We're having emotional attacks, and we're constantly being attacked. Heart attack, stroke. All this is this emotional, toxic living that we're subjected to this. But if we can get into a rhythm, we can really lift ourselves out of the muck and the mire and tap into our excellence, our supernatural power. So yeah, I'm tuning into how you're looking at the day. So you actually get in 24 hours
Mm-hmm.
because when you close your eyes at night,
Mm-hmm.
the minute you wake up, watch the vision come right through you.
Mm.
The night, last night, for example, the night before, something happened. It was a crisis that I knew that something great's gonna come out that crisis. I didn't know quite what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But when I took my tea, I did all my, and then I rested. I don't call it sleep. I never go to sleep. I rest and refuel and recharge.
Mm-hmm.
Words have power. And then when I rise,
Uh-huh.
before I open up my eyes, I start to see the answers. And then I start to scribe, and I use a pen, paper, papyrus, and I write down the channel. And as I'm just letting the energy flow, I said, "Whoa!" And I just start going into gratitude because I just got the formula.
Mm. 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 Mm.
It's a detail. I have a book called Impeccable Listening.
Mm.
And I remember Nova saw when he first saw that. I wasn't trying to write that book. I was trying with all my might not to write because writing takes a lot of time and energy. By the time I get back, the world would have shifted. But anyways, a brother begged me, said, "Please, you talk about this impeccable listening. How do you do it?" I said, "Well, just ask any question. You just ask, listen, and then you do what you hear. And the more you do it, the exercise, you're strong you get in it." He said, "Could you write about it?" I said, I told you, just okay. So I started to write. I started to scribe. And
Mm.
it went from a few pages. That's okay, I read a few pages, and that'll be it. No, it went to 200 pages. And what I did is I dissected my own life.
Mm.
How, because I have product, I travel. I've written 7 books. I have 7 books coming out in 2 weeks. 7 books. Ali calls it the Legacy Ali. He calls it the Encyclopedia of Wellness.
Mm.
There's 7 of them. There. How did that happen?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Right? And
Supernatural.
that's so. It's like, but every people come to study with me not only to get well, but to see my formula. But I'm not hiding my formula. I'm sharing my formula because we all have greatness in us. And if we can tune in, I might need your greatness. If you do what you do great, then it's like money in the bank on a spiritual, energetic level. So
Whew.
if your bank account
Hey.
is full, and my bank account is full, and our sisters and brothers' bank account is full in creativity, in finance, in vision,
Hey.
then we
Come on.
have a multitude of everything that we need. I say everything is in a circle, Black people. Whatever we need, it's within us. We don't have to look outside. We did that. We created cities. They burned them down. They drowned it out. But you can't stop a vision of greatness. When the vision is empowered and strong and centered, we continue to rise up, period.
It's absolutely beautiful talking to you, Queen, man. Wow. I mean, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Family, y'all better sign up for anything she got going on. Because this Queen here, this is truly a supernatural being Once again, family, she got the detox, the summer detox, and I'm
Yes.
gonna make it. I'm gonna really try to make it to what she got, Queen got going on the beach on August 2nd and 3rd. But make sure y'all
Yes.
sign up for the detox. King Simon is sharing the links in the chat, family. It's pinned at the top, and he's sharing it consistently throughout the chat. Make sure y'all click on those links and sign up. It's very important. We clean out our body, we detox, we get rid of the poisons that we intake from the air, from the food, and all other stuff. So please, please, please make sure you detox, family. We did one early with KT. Can't stress enough how important it is to detox, family. Make sure you sign up for Queen Afua's detox. Queen, I got one more question before we get out of here, Queen.
Mm-hmm.
One more question. I mean, what? It's absolutely honor. I can't say that enough. Just having you on here. Want to ask you this, Queen. In terms of gardening, growing our own food, not relying on the supermarket for food. All right, let me just say that before I ask the question. A brother told me one time. He said we was chopping it up, build building on farming and things like that. He said that he had moved into a home. Nobody had lived there on the land or in the home before, and he noticed that before he moved, he was overseas. He just bought the home, but his family moved in the home first. All right. When the family moved in the home, there was nothing. They had a huge backyard. There was nothing growing in the backyard. He noticed after he finished conducting the business or whatever he had to conduct overseas, when he moved in that home with his family, certain blueberries started growing in the backyard. Since you talked about energy earlier,
That's so good.
the soil that we stand on that our energy interacts with, will it provide us with exactly what we need, Queen of Four?
Let me tell you, you got me so hyped up right now.
Woo!
Oh,
Come
you
on,
done
Queen.
said you did another one. You did another
Come
one
on,
now.
Queen. Come on.
It brought me back
Come
to
on.
Dr. John E. Moore.
Yeah.
Dr. John E. Moore used to be, he was a master community herbalist on 125th Street and Fifth Avenue. I took him as my spiritual grandfather, and the whole community did it the same. And he taught herbs. You can walk down the street, he see a crack in the cement
Yeah.
of the city street, and he could say that herb is this, that's a dandelion, that's a yarrow, that's a marshmallow, whatever he would say, he would know what it was, and he would tell you what it's for. He
Right.
said, wherever you are brought to,
Mm-hmm.
those particular herbs that grow there, that's your medicine. That's why you
Mm.
were drawn there.
Mm.
Isn't
Ooh.
that something? How
Yeah.
nature actually
It's
works
beautiful,
with
man.
us, and we
S-
sometimes wonder why are we in this land? Why are we near that water?
Yeah.
Why are dandelion plants are growing all around us? Because we need power, we need iron, we
Wow.
need water because we need to be more flexible, we need to let go of the red, whatever we're going through. But
Yeah.
the elements are actually supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
And just like we talk to each other,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the earth, the elements are also talking to us.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to get to the point where you could feel the sun having a conversation with you,
Mm-hmm.
or the waterfall, or the ocean
Mm-hmm.
saying, I'm so glad that you're finally here, or the soil saying, I'm going to pull all your pain out of your body and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to put back into you a new walk, just to be that in tune. Don't we want to be that in tune?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's called next level.
Yeah.
And with that, we're free people there.
Yeah.
That's liberation to purification talk.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what that's about.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well,
Queen, what?
I would just say this one thing.
Yeah.
I was on I did Essence, and that, they did finally what I wanted to do. I used to be in Essence a lot. And I said, I want an article from Essence. I just said, I want Essence to write an article on my work, because I know that Essence is the heart of the Black woman. And my son and myself, Legacy Ali, and myself was on stage. And what we were sharing was about the continuation. Because, see, I buried 9 healers, and their work is now continuing heavily from the level where they were when they were in their body. So if it doesn't continue, in the next generation, all that wisdom, it dies, it goes into the casket. Only those who are devoted, it continues to blossom to those who remember and call the name and for the ancestors. But it's a profound level when your offspring, all three of my children are vegan. They're called vegan vegetarian. And they continue the legacy, but not just my children, our children. Why not it continue? If it continued their generations, they say it takes 7 generations back to repair ourselves. And also, if we do that, it takes us 7 generations to the future. So every generation we improve, we get better, and we come out of this enslavement, psychological, colonialized enslavement that has happened to us as a people, for it to never happen again. So
Beautiful.
I would like for my legacy, I who's sitting right here, just to do a closing word
Oh
on
yeah.
the power, if
Come
you if
on.
you, if you will.
Come on, Queen.
Come on, son.
Well, it's an honor and pleasure. Um, I'm 43 years, plant-based vegan, core affiliate, alkaline lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother's launching this new book series called Wellness City, Food
Mm-hmm.
is Medicine. And this book is going to put it into food wars. It's going to put it into vegan set tripping because in the vegan plant-based community, there's a lot of different ideologies in terms of the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And what we recognize there are those that follow Queen of Four, the Queen of Whites, the Sabiites, those that are the raw foodists, those that are more in the juice therapy,
Mm-hmm.
those that are like you mentioned, the mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on a campaign to unify the healers.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have the book Planet Heal right now in front of us. I'm trying to find that book. But I know that also Red Pill and Blue Pill is also the Lancer as well as Stone Mountain. And we have other healers, King Simon's in the book as well, where we acknowledge the various healers. So I said, in our Legacy of Warrior books, you always been about unifying the healers and the community and the entrepreneurs and the people. And so one of the things that we're bringing forth in this next chapter of our journey is with intention, clear intention of unification. We just left Essence Festival, and there's a big attack on the legacy of Essence because they've been very intentional about incorporating the Africans in leadership within Essence, and also making sure that they have their say and their involvement in Essence, which we know Essence historically has been about the foundation of Black Americans, the African Americans, us over here, and our culture, based on leans and bringing our culture to the forefront. But now they're expanding the horizon. So it's a war happening right now. It's a war of culture going on. We know that there's been a war going on in spirituality for a long time. That's what we see is going on with Israel and Gaza, the spiritual war of the Jews and the Muslims and the Christians, us being America, the America being Christian and Catholic, the war going on. And so there's a war constantly happening in the world. So what we're bringing to the forefront right now with the wellness mission is to create a global unification, and the people are traumatized, people are going through it, people are depressed, and this is now the time to stay unified, if it ever was a time. So me being second generation plant-based healer and entrepreneur, I'm aligning with my mother. I've been working with her now for the past 20 years, and I've been working more behind the scenes as management, helping to put all the systems together so that her legacy could be present and relevant and connected to this new generation, from legacy to the modern day. And so I'm going to be coming more to the forefront with Queen because now we're on a mission to unify the legacies and to continue to go to the forefront and building up this work. So definitely, Brother Rich, we thank you for having us this evening. And we would love to come
Thank you,
on your channel,
Simon.
if not once a month, once a season, to be intentional. And
Indeed.
anyone that's here with us to have a platform, we're on a tour. We're on a tour. We're adding dates to our tour for
Mm-hmm.
this particular book. And we're also doing a podcast tour as well as our social media live, those that have live platforms and want to bring us on their live platform tour as well. So after Essence, you are the second date. Essence was the kickoff of this tour for the book, The Wellness City, book one. Give me keep passing the books so
Come
we can
on.
see the vision. Book two. Okay, give me book three. Book
Y'all
three, we'll
get
give you the rest of book two.
busy.
Give me the rest of
Come
the book
on,
three.
y'all.
Book
This is
four.
beautiful.
Okay,
It
book
keeps
five,
going. Come on.
book six,
Come on, y'all.
and book seven.
Liberation
Shit.
six.
These books are live. This is our wellness encyclopedia. Okay?
Beautiful.
And Queen is launching this book on
Beautiful.
Amazon in 2 weeks. It'll be live in Brooklyn at the
I'll get the
Ascension.
book back.
Beautiful.
Okay, the first book is called Soul Food Kitchen.
Uh,
This food is
come on.
medicine. The second book is Manifestation Kitchen.
Lunch kitchen.
Matter of fact, I got to put on the screen as I say it. Okay,
Come on.
that's the second book, Manifestation Kitchen.
Yeah.
The third book
Yeah.
is the what's the third book got, Queen?
The
The
third
third
book
book
is
is
Sun
where
Food,
Sun. They got to see the Sunful Kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunful Live
Yeah.
Kitchen.
The fourth book is Emerald Green Rejuvenation Kitchen.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay. The
Huh?
fifth book is the Detox Fasting Kitchen.
All right.
The sixth book is the Unification Healers Kitchen. And then the seventh book is the Liberation Soup Kitchen.
Right.
So, family, this is what we're bringing forth. So, Black Magic, your channel, Brother Rich, is the second date. We did the first date physically at Essence to do the pre-launch. Now we're furthering the campaign on your podcast this evening.
Thank you
And
for
so
having
thank
us.
you. You're making history because you're further opening up the door for us to consider the campaign. So that is my charge, Queen, this evening.
Yeah.
And we give thanks.
Brother Rich, you know you something else. Because last night you called me and said, Queen, I need you to come on. I said, I'm thinking probably next week. You said, I said, so when you like me to come? He
Yeah.
said, tomorrow. I said, tomorrow. Okay, yes, Brother Rich. I'll never say no to you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
You and King Simon, all
I
power to
appreciate
the
it.
black people. I love us. Thank you so much for having me.
Yo, y'all really hold up, y'all. Ali
What's
and
up, brother?
Afua really just pulled out 7 books on us. Y'all not playing. Nah, that y'all not playing. This is like, ain't that inspirational, y'all? Do y'all see that? Do y'all feel something in your spirit when y'all see something like that? Is it just me? Do you feel something in your body? Goosebumps, perhaps, anything. You gotta feel something when you see stuff like that. That's beautiful. That's what this is all about. That's meant to inspire us in more ways than one. I wish y'all the best success. King Simon is sharing the link in the chat. I am definitely gonna link with y'all somehow when I get to New York, even if I can't make it. Somehow we gonna link. We gonna do it. We gonna do it big. So I
Okay.
appreciate y'all. Keep up the good work,
You
Ali. Keep
too.
doing your thing.
And Rich, listen,
Yeah,
last year you
yeah.
brought Queen to Atlanta. She really enjoyed herself. That was
I did
pretty.
great.
That was
Oh,
pretty
Yes,
you're
big.
right. I forgot
you
about that.
did.
So we gotta do
You're
that
right.
again. We gotta do that
You're
again.
right. Gather to the masters. I forgot.
That's right.
Salute.
Right. Yo, I
That was
forgot
so
about that,
great.
Queen. Queen, you did a absolutely man. People still talking about it to this day. What you did when
Wow.
you came down to Atlanta. Yo, I completely forgot about that. Oh, I got so many things that be happening. But thanks for reminding me, Ali. Listen, I'm gonna talk to y'all soon. I'm gonna be in New York soon. We definitely gonna
Yeah,
link.
we want to take care of you, Richard. We want to
Yeah,
take care of you. You're a rich spirit, rich in body, rich in mind, rich
Uh-huh.
uh,
in principles, rich in consciousness. So someone like you are a treasure.
You're a treasure.
thank you, thank you.
You
You are
know,
there for us.
you and King Simon working together as brother to brother, shoulder to shoulder. We admire that.
Thank you.
That keeps us pumped up and charged up and unified. So I just want to let you know any way that we can support you,
Mm.
it's our gift. It's our
Thank you.
honor.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Family, once again, before we get out
Thank
here,
you.
make sure y'all click on the links King Simon is sharing. Queen, as you can see, they got a lot going on. Make sure y'all support them. I will be in New York soon, so I'm gonna find out a way to link with Queen
Yeah,
and
we'll
the
work
rest
it
of
out.
them. Besides that, family, thanks for tuning in tonight. I will be back tomorrow with Minister Jew. Yo, I'm gonna talk to y'all soon. Ali Queen, I'm gonna talk to y'all soon, all right?
All right.
Thanks.
All
Give
right, peace,
thanks,
y'all.
brother.
Transformation to purification. Yes,
Peace,
sir.
blessings.
Okay.
All right. Family, I'll see you tomorrow with Minister Jew, all right? Thanks for tuning in. Brother Rich, Queen Afua, her son Ali. Absolutely magnificent show. With that being said, tomorrow, 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Minister Jew. You know we get down quantum style. We get down quantum style. So it's going to be one of them type of vibes, one of them type of shows. But I had a good time with Queen tonight. I had a good time with Queen tonight. Queen, she always had me energetic, always put a smile on my face. So happy to be here. Happy to be here and happy to have the opportunity to interview her. Shout out to her and her family. Also, my brother, Supernova Slum. Shout out to the medicine man, Supernova Slum, the medicine man. With that being said, family, I will see you tomorrow, right?